Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Unlock the Middle's Navigating Leadership on a Friday afternoon. My name is Dean Packard. I am the proud principal of Charlton Middle School in Charlton, Massachusetts. And alongside of me, I have my good friend and co-host, Principal Chris Starcheski of Dudley Middle School in Dudley, Massachusetts. Chris, it's Friday. We've made it. Unbelievable. I'm super excited to see the week come to an end. But more importantly, I'm just as fired up to speak to another colleague from the southern state of Florida who's going to bring some exciting information out to all of our listeners today. Chris, how are you? How's your day been? Great to see you, my friend.
Day's been great. It's always great being in middle school. You know that.
Absolutely.
This has its stressors with it like no other position. And the environment that we're in, though, is so fantastic because folks are working with our middle level learners, taking things to the next level. Nothing goes as planned. And as you know, things change on a dime. And we're in the middle of a monster transition as we prepare for the new term with a new schedule on January the 25th. It's the next step towards normalcy, though. I'm ready for it. I'm pretty fired up about this afternoon, though, Dean, because as we sit down and think about how we can utilize student interest and maybe our own interests to enhance the instructional and learning experience for the kids, but also their life experiences, today's show is a little bit about that and how we can capitalize on a tiny kernel of an idea that starts to really spiral and get larger. And that's really what I'm hoping to think about and be inspired by today.
Well, problem solving is big, especially at the middle level. And we start thinking about STEM and STEM technology and in the design process and things of that nature. And when we start thinking about, items that we may have in our schools and how we can use them to build and create and still maintain forward thinking, that's a win-win. So, hey, again, what I'd like to do, why don't I bring Joe in, just do a quick little introduction for him, if you would, Chris, and let's get into some topics about this stuff. And I think it's important. We're going to head down to sunny Florida. I don't know if it's sunny today, but I heard it was probably about 65 and it's 47 degrees here. So not much of a differential. So I'm going to bring Joe in, and why don't you just do the honors of just a quick recognition for him.
You got it, man. Well, hey, everybody. Joe Peccia is joining us today. He's the principal of Eagles Landing Middle School down there in Florida. It's a large middle school, grades 6 through 8. We are up here in the Northeast, Dean and I, in a 5 through 8 middle school. And we're going to be engaging a little bit today in the idea and concept of esports and gaming, but from the lens of kids building their own machines. Joe, how are you?
Hey guys, how are you doing?
We're doing great, Joe. Hey, take a minute, just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background, where you're at, what you've been doing, and that'll be a great way for us to start off.
You got it, guys. Hey, basically, been living in South Florida my entire life. I have been principal here at Eagles Landing for the last 4 years. I was a turnover principal prior to this, and proud of Pine Grove Elementary. We got them turned around within 8 months. It was a phenomenal story over there, phenomenal community. And when I took over the school, it was a state-run school. It was about 4 points from an F, and in about 8 months, we turned that staff. We got them on board. We turned the whole thing around with everyone who was there to 16 points from an A. It was a whole community change. It was fantastic. So I'll never forget that experience. And I'm here at Eagles Landing now. We protect the nest. We love it.
I love to hear that. And that whole turnaround portion of what you did is another segment for another show, because I'll tell you what, those few integral things that you may have done to point a staff in a different direction can have rippling effects within a building. So that's something that I'm really interested in. But let's really turn our attention towards what's happening in your school. Really caught my attention with the esports and what that's all about and how that has really probably gotten kids to another level of engagement. So talk a little bit about that, if you could, please.
Well, the esports has been bubbling, kind of like the ooze in Ghostbusters 2. It's just ready to explode onto the scene, and it actually already has. It's one of the biggest markets out there that we don't know about or we have heard about, but we're not really taking a closer look at it as things change and get closer and closer with this new students and these new kids and this new generation of kids coming through. This is something that just really, really resonates with them, and I'm not willing to ignore what's out there and what's moving in society and what's gaining ground. And so to me, when you see those things, I believe those opportunities and those experiences should be at the forefront within the schools, because students should be coming here to learn, to take out the door, not coming in here to share what they've learned outside. We want to bring in both and have a a real balance in between, but they want to know they can come here and take something home and immediately apply it to either help out at home or just help themselves out and become better human beings.
Yeah, as I listen to that outlook, Joe, I think you're capitalizing on some real power there in terms of affecting change, in your program and in your school. How do you go about getting, buy-in for a new idea like that, and where do you find those resources?
Well, basically, it's not difficult when you think about it. There are right now within both of your schools, I can promise you, if you put out a survey today and had the simple question of asking your current students which one of them like to game or like to dabble into esports, you're probably going to get a very surprising response. I would say up into the 50 and 60% range of your student body of students who are already connected in this way. And to me, that's one of the pieces that says, hey, I hate learning about my kids on the last day of school when they all bring in like a guitar or something and you go, I wish I would have known that before you left, and I've had you here for 3 years. I'm doing that now. We want to find out what drives them now. And I think esports is something that we know about. Basically put out the quick survey, and I've had over 300 kids sign up, and it's been phenomenal. So we find that interest and we peak it. Now we go, wait a minute. Okay, so how do we get into this, and what's the access going to be like? I see all these souped up PCs, and I don't know anything about PlayStation and Xbox and those types of things. Well, guys, I can tell you right now, this is a heck of a lot easier than you think it's going to be. It really is. These kids already have the connectivity at home. There's a lot of them that don't. We'll get into that in a second. But for the ones that already do, this is really just going to be a quick transition where you align what you're doing at the school to really, really home in on the students being able to make this a connection with the school and what they do outside. And so the esports is right there. It's easy grabbing for you. It's a low picking fruit.
Now, how do you integrate that during the school day? So I'm thinking about this. What does that look like? Is this more of an after-school program? Is this where are you looking at it within your school?
Well, basically, the program itself, when you take a look at esports, it really does delve out a whole lot more than just the gaming piece in itself. You guys are in Massachusetts. I don't know if you're Patriot fans, New England or whatnot, but the New England Patriots, I can promise you, their actual pro football players are not running the operations outside of the game. There's probably 300 to 400 employees that work to make one game come to fruition and run the way it does. And so I want you to understand that esports has that same connotation where students have roles, they have responsibilities. They're not only getting onto a computer and gaming, they're understanding that the PC has the components to run that game at the speed it needs to. Speed is the main name of the game when it comes to esports. If your computer is a 0.millisecond behind the kid who's over playing against you in another state, they've got the advantage all day long. If we can have 1 second ahead of everyone else, guys, I promise you, we'd be millionaires, billionaires. You know what I mean? Just give me 1 second. So 1 millisecond can be the difference. And so basically, we're teaching those kids that understanding. We're also teaching them, connectivity. We're going all the way down to the base bones to know they're understanding what our server is as a public system and knowing that we have firewall. We have all those things that keep it from there. Streaming, marketing, all these pieces that come into play to put this together is a production. The bounds and the connections to this are endless. Coding, all those pieces that we've been talking about for the last 5 or 10 years, this is all part of it. This is all a huge part of this, and it connects so many different students with so many different backgrounds, and what I love about it, your esports team will not look like your basketball team. They will not look like your football team, your baseball team. Your esports team is going to look like when you're having a hall change and you're seeing every different kid that walks your hallway. 4 or 5 of those kids could be functioning on one team together to compete and have so much more connection than they ever would have, which is why, to me, this is the biggest draw to me. I love connecting a school and connecting students together. And now you can have your students who may not be the athletically bound or anything, but is the hero of the day when they show up the next day because they just navigated their team through a win, So exciting.
Your description of the esports, it certainly shapes my image of what it was. About a few years ago now, Massachusetts undertook through the MIAA an exploratory dive into esports leagues, and they've become very competitive. And there are a few high schools that are really involved up here in Massachusetts. But the piece that I was missing You actually just brought it all into clarity for me. We're thinking about NASCAR, right? NASCAR, I could take my little Toyota Camry out here and put it on the track, but there is no way I'm going to be able to compete against any of the other vehicles that are out there. I just don't have the tools inside the vehicle to move it fast. You're talking about kids learning everything there is to know about the inner workings of the machine, the technology, understanding how it responds and reacts, understanding a little bit about human reaction response time, how to maximize efficiencies. This is pretty exciting to me because I think I might be able to take some of this and bring it to my son's conversation with me about his refresh rate on his Nintendo Switch for Fortnite, and I have no idea what he's talking about. But as I'm sitting here listening, I'm thinking this has potential to really take that. Dean's question was, is this kind of co-curricular? Is this embedded in the school? This has real significant programmatic development as we think about, the computer applications programs that typically run in middle school, learning about keyboarding and basic functions. There's some real power here, and the kids can be the experts at leading that charge, as they start to develop and get older. There's student leadership opportunities and everything here.
Just like you talked about, NASCAR, what a great example in terms of that. When there's an actual race, how many people are on a specific team for one car, and how many people are involved to make that happen? I love that you brought up NASCAR, because I'm going to actually show you something right now in my office, in the principal's office, and what we're doing and what the kids are building. Take a look at this down at the end, and you're going to see, I don't know if you can see the steering wheel down there, but that's a computer with the steering wheel, and we're working now with those pieces, because to me, the sports, you can't look at sports and say it's basketball, it's football. It's every sport that's out there.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a racing team here. I can't wait to have that all be a part of all this. And so we're pushing these towers to the limit right now to see what they can do, because there really is no bounds, and there is nothing that's going to keep students from participating if they want to. And that's the greatest thing, so we're ecstatic about what doors this is going to open, the equity, all the pieces that we continue to say and do. It's action time. And esports to me is just a great platform to bring in that says, hey, from an athletic standpoint, we now bring in esports and have e-athletes. To me, that's a great opportunity.
Joe, you're looking at, I was a high school basketball coach for 12 years. Chris is involved in coaching. We get that group of kids, but you're now targeting the masses of other kids who aren't involved there. That's huge. You are now bringing a community of learners together and at a new level of engagement. I guess my question would be, have you elicited some feedback yet from staff, parents, or students on how they feel about coming to school? Has attendance changed? Has this given them that extra initiative drive to make school that place, that to create that sense of belonging?
What it's really done is it's really created. What I brought here is a little saying, we're the Eagles. Now, there's probably out of 10 schools out there, 5 of them are a mascot. That's probably a bird. And we're the Eagles, which is probably taking a large percent of that. So I had to think of something different, because Eagles soar, Eagles fly, Eagles this. So I said protect the nest. And I know it's not a new thing, but I said, let's protect the nest. Let's be the guardians of the nest and really bring in that culture of understanding that this is our home. And so basically, what this has done, because our team name is Guardians of the Nest, really what this has done is it has really brought in more students to be involved with this school beyond the school day and the school time. Now, during the school day, it makes them so much more engaged. When they're walking past me and they're asking questions about certain, I am not a component person. I don't know and understand these pieces. When they're asking me and I'm listening to them, and I run to my office and I look it up and I'm going, hey, and I'm calling my IT guy, we have this and we're good to go. When I'm having those kind of conversations with those students who probably would have never thought to stop and talk to their principal about that program, think about the doors you just opened for yourself as a principal and the students you just grabbed. It has already done that within this school. I am talking to more students about this program than any other program within this school. And that's what I can tell you. When you can start speaking that lingo with them, that connection you've just made, you've already closed the divide, fellas. So trust me, it's there and it's making those changes.
Fantastic. I mean, we talk about this segment of our show is navigating leadership, and the summary explanation that you just gave, Joe, is quite powerful as we sit down and think about how we really navigate the ins and outs of relationships and understanding of what interests kids. And when we show interest in kids, guess what happens? their performance goes to the next level, and then we've got more jobs ahead to take it even higher. Super powerful. As you sit down and reflect on how the program has started and where it's at now, and you know, where do you see it extending to? Are there other schools in the area that are starting to catch on? How about your local district, neighboring districts?
We really are the ones running through the brick wall right now with this. There are other schools within our district that have outside clubs and things like that that are taking place. However, it hasn't been, and you guys might know this working for a district as well, it hasn't really been district approved. It hasn't been district approved and really become an official platform. Once that takes place, I think it's going to really help out a lot. Now, I'm on the steering committee for middle schools down here in Palm Beach County, so I really have the voice of all the middle school principals and the high school principals who are on board with this 110%, because principals want to be relevant. I think that to me is probably one of the biggest fears that we don't really talk about is relevance, and we want to stay relevant. We even as human beings. And so with this, it's an opportunity for us to dive back into those waters and engage with the kids. And I think as this thing goes, and I'm thinking in the next few weeks, you're going to really see some bump and movement with this. And I can't wait till we have our first, gaming or esports competition between each other, because guess what? It's going to connect us too. That's the exciting part.
That is, you actually just created bridges, man. And I think that excites me a lot. So if somebody was listening out there, principal out there right now, their school, can you just kind of run through a basic punch list of a startup for this? If it wanted to go in this route, I mean, does it take a lot of upfront money? We're talking about some of the essentials you might already have in your building to be able to start this. What does it take to get started?
So easy way you can jump into it is, first and foremost, you want to find out what you already have on your campus that will work coincidentally with these gaming platforms and what you already have. You don't want to go out and look at the shiny machines and all those things like that, because then you're already jumping into the money. Don't go and try to buy the top shelf stuff and the top things that are out there, because you really want you and your students to really come to an understanding and appreciate when you build it on your own, and then you start adding those little bit more expensive and higher quality components. It becomes more of an appreciation that you built it yourself. So easy peasy, go out there, and first thing you do, you can take a look at what it's going to take minimum to run certain games. Like you guys in middle school, even for everyone games are things that you're going to want to take a look at. You're not going to want to jump in all the games that the high schools are doing, because remember, our kids are a little bit younger and we really don't want to dive in that way. We want to earn your parents' trust. So find those E for everyone games, your Rocket League, your Mario Kart, your Super Smash Brothers, those kind of games, your Minecraft. What does it take minimum to run those? You guys are already running Minecraft in your building, so you don't need to buy new computers for Minecraft to a certain degree. For Rocket League, you can take a look and see, you might have older computers in your building that can fit a larger graphics card in there that can already run what the minimum is to get it going. Don't worry about speed right now. Worry about being able to connect, and you're going to be able to do that with a lot less than you think you need to right now. And it's so easy to find out. I can tell you don't need to worry about finding the kids. They're right there in your building. They're waiting for you to throw this out there. And when you do, I'm going to tell you, make sure you're wearing some extra layers, because they're going to be chomping your arms off getting this going. So make sure you got some things in place ready to get this going. I say start in-house, start small, have little in-house competitions, see what's working with this. And then the first time you log into a server and play competition online against each other, that way it stays right within the school. You can monitor it, keep it there. You're not sharing information. I'm telling you, it's just going to build from there. Keep it simple. See what you can do, what you got within. And if you want to, reach out to me. No problem. joe.peccia@palmbeachschools.org. And I can help you take a look at what you've got, what machines you're running. I can talk to my IT guy, and we can help you out. We're not the experts, but we can surely help you out.
We're not letting you get off the hook that quick. We're going to be reaching out to you. I like this. You're now part of this. This is going to be bigger than I think.
Oh, I love it, man. I can't wait till you guys actually fly down here and we build our labs and we actually come back to this and we're having these competitions. You guys are staying at my house. We're going to have a great time, man. We really are going to enjoy this. And that's what I mean. Think about the connection opportunities here. And we need each other so much. As a principal in these last 8-9 months, it has not been any more. To me, I needed to talk to other principals. I don't know about you guys, but
let's go there for a second, Joe. And I'm glad you did, because this is the most refreshing part of our week when Chris and I get a chance to reach out across the country, across the ocean sometimes, to speak to people about where they're at. I mean, I know teachers right now are heroes to me. They're doing amazing things. Okay. Principals, we guide, we plant, we support, and we listen. Okay. But we don't really have that group of support. This provides it. Knowing that you're doing something that you're having fun with and you can see some real energy at the end of the finish line and some real connectivity, to me, you just brightened up my day, man. And it's something that, right now we're not thinking about, really jumping out and creating something new because we're in triage and we're supporting kids, academically, socially, and emotionally. But this itself is something that would also support them because it gives them a sense of belonging. So that's what I think is really cool.
But you guys are thinking about some things. And you know what the main priority to me is right now? We have got to decrease the teacher load beyond instruction. We have to. This is done. We can no longer talk about it. We can no longer have 20,000 different things that teachers are needing to do beyond instruction. That has got to end and it needs to stop. You guys are coaches. I was a high school baseball and a college baseball coach, so you guys know. And to me, I have to set my players up for success before it even starts. When I'm going to put in, a player into the game, or if I want to put them in as a pinch hitter, I'm going to put them in the field first, so the next inning they can come in and hit. I don't want everyone to be looking at them on the on deck circle, and then they not have a good at bat, and then all of a sudden, what's the rest of the game going to look like? You got to set people up for success. And to be honest with you, if you want quality time, beat on the instruction, get the load off the teachers' plates. If we make that our platform, I'm telling you, things are moving forward.
Love it.
Yeah, it's great. It's great advice and it's fresh perspective. I know Dean and I both like to connect with our kids as much as possible. Last year I was teaching a couple classes called Exploratory, and it was all about life skills and engagement. But what it does, it takes those 20 kids in each section out of sections that teachers would have had to cover, and it also gave me an opportunity to really connect at a high level with the kids.
Yeah.
And then March 13th happened, but it was a fantastic run up until that date. Joe, I'm sitting here listening to you and I'm thinking about the connectivity and the connectedness. I really appreciate what you brought to the table today. And you really stimulated some very positive thought in my mind about how to really kind of give some good wind underneath the wings of our teachers to give them an opportunity to extend out and think a little bit differently about what it is that they do and how we offer it. Our Minecraft club here, it can be so different. It can be so next level beyond just a few kids showing up and just doing the game. We can interact with them more. We can go ahead and get the student voice into how do we build competitions.
Yeah, but how dare you think about innovation and creation during a time like this? What is thinking? Huh?
Shameful.
Come on.
Shameful.
Come on. We all have to drink from that trough. We all have to redesign what we're doing from the top down because this business is so powered from an antiquated system. Again, it's gone. We got to move. This is opportunity time for all of us now. That's the coolest thing about what we're looking at.
Absolutely, guys. I say clear the teachers' plates, get them focused on instruction, and they'll start making instruction better. But the more we keep bogging them down, we're going to get what we asked for.
Agreed. 100%. 100%. Well, hey, listen, we're coming up on 25 minutes right now. And Joe, you've been amazing, man. I'm so glad we connected with you. We're not done with you. We're going to bring you back. I think that you've got that piece that we need just to continue to drive forward. And, all in all, I love what you're doing. Don't stop. Be that pioneer. Be that leader. And it's exactly what we're looking at when we unlock the middle and try to figure out new and exciting ways to connect with kids and education in America today.
That's rock and roll, man. I can't wait. And, for all those principals out there that are also working with those turnover schools, man, I'd love to be able to connect with them and help them out, man. I've been there. I've done that. And we saw some really good success with the community. So I'd love to, guys. Looking forward.
Hey, why don't we kind of earmark that next Friday, maybe, and we'll talk a little bit about turnaround schools. I think that might be something we can do, Chris, and give us all some time. And maybe we can reach out to one more person to join us. So if you are listening out there and you want to join our panel next week, as we talk about turnaround schools, turnaround plans, ways to engage students, help teachers become successful. We want to hear from you. There's no doubt about that.
I think we got a topic.
All right. Take us home, Chris.
All right. Well, hey, everybody out there in Unlock the Middle Land. This has been Navigating Leadership with Dean, Chris, and Joe from down there in Florida. Joe, thank you very much for joining us. Everybody out there, tune in on Sunday night at 7 p.m. on Twitter, Facebook, Periscope, and YouTube. Unlock the Middle. We've got a great show coming at you about 7 o'clock on Sunday night. And, of course, our Middle Marvels segment where we celebrate all things that are great about middle-level educators on Tuesday night. Be well, everybody. Be strong.
Time out.
Oh.
Can I jump? I always do this to you, man. I love
You
doing this to you, derailing you. Hey, Joe, your homework. Hey,
Tell me what
this
it
is
means.
Joe's homework. We want to spotlight one of your rock star educators, Joe. So this is homework for you, okay? So over the next couple of weeks, if you could, and again, I hate to do that because I don't want to put one teacher against another teacher, but if you have somebody down there who has a great story to tell, we want to get them in our lineup because we've got a couple over the next couple of weeks that are going to really go far, but we would like to make sure we recognize your school and what you're doing.
I already got them. We're ready to go.
Oh, I love it, man. That was easy. All right, Chris. Sorry. I'll close.
I'm going to take it home now.
All right,
So,
go.
hey, be well, be better, be strong. But this weekend is very special because it's a service-oriented weekend. It's a weekend of service, MLK Junior weekend. It's not a third day in the weekend, folks. It's an opportunity for us to go out there and affect positive change in our local communities and in those who are around us. Find a way to make it better. Find a way to make it best. And just keep on chugging. Have a great one, everybody.
Take care.